Hold on to your mugs, darlings. Pablo the pampered cat is about to earn his place in romance history. Who knew a moose encounter could lead to such a picturesque tumble? In the Rockies, it seems even gravity plays Cupid, and some falls are worth taking. Chapter 5. The Art of Falling.
This is character development.
Darcy informed Pablo as she struggled to clip the leash onto his designer harness.
We're both trying new things, expanding our horizons, embracing, ow.
She yanked her handbag as Pablo expressed his opinion of horizon expansion with his claws. Darcy cracked open her cabin door, and the pre-dawn chill sliced through her clearance rack ski jacket. The price tag had promised professional-grade winter wear, but the awkward fit made her look like a marshmallow that had lost a fight with a vacuum sealer. Her new boots, marked down 70% and one size too large, squeaked with every step. Pablo took one delicate paw step into the snow, recoiled as if personally betrayed, and launched himself up her legs like a furry missile. She staggered as he climbed her like a cat tree, using her not-quite-zipped jacket as handholds until he could drape himself around her shoulders like the world's most judgmental scarf.
You know, real outdoor cats actually touch the ground, right?
The leash dangled uselessly against her side as she trudged through the snow. Pablo responded by kneading her shoulder, his claws finding every gap in the jacket's insufficient insulation. The lake stretched before them like polished obsidian in the gray light, surrounded by snow-dusted pines. It was the kind of view her readers would swoon over, pure romance novel backdrop. All it needed was a rugged mountain man to complete the scene. A fallen log swept clean of snow by the wind offered a temporary resting spot. Darcy brushed off a patch with her oversized glove and sank down, wincing as the cold immediately seeped through her jeans. Pablo readjusted his position on her shoulders, his warm weight the only thing keeping her from retreating to her cabin's fireplace. The silence out here was different from Toronto's version of quiet. No distant sirens, no humming streetlights, no early morning delivery trucks. Just the soft patter of snow falling from laden branches and the occasional creak of ice from the lake. Her breath fogged in the air, joining the mist rising from the water's surface.
This would make a great panel,
she murmured to Pablo, framing the scene with her fingers.
The lone heroine contemplating her life choices while slowly freezing her.
A violent shiver cut off her narration. Even Pablo's fur scarf impression couldn't combat the mounting chill.
Okay, enough communing with nature.
She pushed herself up, her two big boots squeaking in protest.
Time to head back before...
A flash of movement caught her eye. Near the lake's edge, a moose emerged from the trees, its breath clouding in the cold air. Darcy reached for her tablet, then remembered she'd left it behind, afraid of dropping it in the snow.
Okay, Pablo,
she whispered, fishing her phone from her pocket.
Stay still. Mama needs reference photos for the comic's finale. Think how impressed the readers will be with authentic wildlife in the background of...
The angle wasn't quite right. The moose stood partially hidden behind a stand of birch trees, and the morning mist wasn't doing her any favors. A small snowbank to her right looked promising, just high enough to give her a clear shot over the trees.
Just a little higher,
she muttered, carefully picking her way up the packed snow. Her oversized clearance rack boots, already a challenge on flat ground, slipped with each step. Pablo dug his claws deeper into her shoulders, apparently reconsidering his perch now that altitude was involved. She reached the top of the bank, triumphant. The view was perfect. The moose, the lake, the mountains beyond. A shot worthy of a professional photographer, if she did say so herself. The fact that the snowbank dropped off sharply on the other side didn't register as important until much later. That's when Pablo spotted the chickadee. What happened next seemed to unfold in slow motion. Pablo launched himself from her shoulders, apparently deciding that small birds were worth braving snow for after all. The leash, still attached to his harness, whipped around her legs like a bola. Her feet, already unsteady in the ill-fitting boots, tangled in the leash. The snow beneath her shifted treacherously. She windmilled her arms, phone flying in one direction, dignity in the other. And then, because the universe had a sense of humor, she heard the distinctive click of a camera shutter from the other side of the snowbank, followed by a startled, "Oh shit." She expected to hit snow. Instead, she slammed into something solid and warm that let out a very human oof. They went down together in a tangle of limbs and professional camera equipment. Before either could recover, Pablo darted between them, wrapping the leash around them like a demented maypole dancer.
Pablo, no.
Darcy started, but it was too late. The cat made one final victory lap around their prone forms before the cheap plastic clasp gave up with a distinctive snap. Pablo pranced a few feet away, sat down in the snow, and began grooming himself with an air of profound disappointment in them both. Darcy found herself blinking up at a jawline that could indeed cut glass, currently dusted with 2-day stubble and a rapidly spreading blush. Callum stared back at her, his eyes a startling shade of green this close, his camera somehow still clutched protectively above the snow. The broken leash bound them together like the world's most awkward Christmas present.
Her
brain short-circuited.
Come here often?
His lips twitched.
Considering I own the place.
Right, of course, I knew that. Obviously I knew that,
She became acutely aware that she was still sprawled across his chest, their legs hopelessly tangled in Pablo's broken leash.
I'm Darcy, though you probably figured that out from the, graceful entrance.
Callum,
he said, and she felt the rumble of his voice through her clearance rack jacket.
I usually charge extra for the trust fall team-building exercises.
A laugh bubbled up in her chest, unexpected and genuine.
Is this what they mean by falling into the right opportunity?
His eyes crinkled at the corners, and oh, that was dangerous.
If this is your idea of networking, I have concerns about your LinkedIn profile.
A delicate cough interrupted whatever thoroughly inadvisable thing she was about to say next. They looked up, well, sideways, to find Rose beaming down at them, her phone held at the perfect angle to capture their compromising position.
Don't mind me.
Rose said cheerfully.
Just getting some content for the lodge's Instagram. You two look so natural together.
Natural?
Darcy squeaked.
Absolutely, though you might want to retrieve your cat before he terrorizes that poor moose.
Darcy's head whipped around, then immediately whipped back.